My Yupik name is Angklukalka, meaning the diver, which is my great-grandmother's name, given to me by my mother. This presentation is dedicated to my late mother, who is pictured here, as she, like many others, endured firsthand the loss of her culture, language, and whole being as a little girl. While I worked on the coursework for this class, I was surprised of the deep emotions I felt, often debilitating me. I also had to dig deep down to face what I was feeling, to meet the class requirements, and called on to my ancestors to help me in the process. My government issued name is Adeline Marie Kamroff. I am originally from the village of Imangak, which is located on the lower Yukon River in southwest Alaska. My presentation is about Yupik dancing and how Yupik dancing survived the wrath of the federal government's mandate to assimilate our people into the mainstream culture. Most importantly, Yupik dancing survived the Catholic Church's effort to eradicate our customs, traditions, and our potlatches. The Catholic Church infiltrated Southwest Alaska in the early days, and they pushed hard to eliminate our dancing altogether. Here is a letter from Father A.M. Keyes to his superiors regarding his request to stop Yupik dancing.
Dear Mr. Kilbuck, knowing how dear to your heart is the welfare of our natives, I beg to bring to your notice a fact requesting a decision from your well-known prudence. The natives of this locality are about to prepare a performance for next year called the Ceremony of the Dead. It is done ostensibly for the honor of their dead people. In my experience of 21 years among these natives of the Delta, I noticed that such a feast is most dangerous to them, and now I beg you to consider my reasons for forbidding it. Number one, the time lost. Every winter, women are gathered from the surrounding villages to begin preparation. The nights are passed playing. The children do not follow school teaching. Two, the goods are lost. People who have give everything away. Three, health loss. The people gather in cabins or cajimes for hours and hours, consumptively infecting each other while they relax. They live in dirty houses, all packed indecently with the freedom and immorality of animals. 4. Back to savagery. This kind of feast is carried on mostly by the instruction of their medicine doctors. For all the aforesaid reasons, I believe that a step ought to be taken by the school authority to stop the ceremony of the dead. Add to this that these natives have every year 2 other dances more than sufficient to give them relaxation during the long winter. Will you kindly take up this matter and discuss it in your next meeting here? Wishing you and family God's blessings, Father A.M. Keyes, St. Charles Mission, April 1920.
In the early days of the United States, one of the first laws involving assimilation was passed by the US Congress called the Civilization Fund Act of 1819. This was also known as the Indian Civilization Act. This goal of this law was to civilize Native Americans, and this law authorized the president to fund capable persons of good moral character to introduce the arts of civilization to tribes near frontier settlements, often through education and religious conversion. This act and subsequent policies led to establishment of boarding schools where children were forcibly removed from their families and communities and subjected to assimilationist practices. The federal government contracted with numerous religious groups of different denominations to assist in the assimilation drive across the country, including in Alaska. The government assigned certain regions across Alaska Territory to different church denominations. With the church's assignments, they worked hard to deplete our Yupik ways and mostly pushed hard to exclude Yupik dancing altogether. The missionaries and those in authority often referred to Yupik dancing as devil worship and heathen dancing. In the Yupik reality, Yupik dancing was and is referred as a way of praying. The history of Alaska goes back many years, beginning in the 1700s, with Russia first exploring and accessing the natural resources of Alaska. As the United States expanded westward in the early 1800s, Americans soon found themselves in competition with Russian explorers and traders. As time progressed, Alaska was purchased from Russia in 1867, at the time by Secretary of State William Seward. This marked the end of Russian efforts to expand trade and settlement to the Pacific coast of North America and became an important step in the United States' rise as a great power in the Asia Pacific region. For 3 decades after its purchase, the United States paid little attention to Alaska, which was governed under military, naval, or treasury rule, or at times no visible rule at all. Seeking a way to impose U.S. mining laws, the United States constituted a civil government in 1884. Skeptics have dubbed the purchase of Alaska Seward's folly, but the former Secretary of State was vindicated when a major gold deposit was discovered in the Yukon in 1896, and Alaska became the gateway to Klondike goldfields. The strategic importance of Alaska was finally recognized in World War II. Alaska became a state on January 3, 1959. Alaska's indigenous cultures are many and diverse across the state, which include Aleuts who inhabit the western Alaska and the Aleutian Islands, known for their maritime culture, hunting, and fishing skills. Inupiaq who inhabit northern and northwestern Alaska, known for their adaptation to the harsh Arctic climate and reliance on hunting and trapping. Yupik who inhabit the southwestern part of Alaska and surrounding islands, to include Yupik, Siberian Yupik, and Sugpiaq, each with unique cultural practices. Athabascans who inhabit interior Alaska, who are known for their hunter-gatherer lifestyle, fishing and gathering of berries and roots. Tlingit Haida Tsimshian, who live in southeastern Alaska, known for their rich artistic traditions, including totem poles, carving, and weaving. All these cultural groups have distinct languages, traditions, and ways of life, deeply connected to their environment and resources. Many Alaska indigenous cultures still rely on subsistence hunting, fishing, and gathering for their livelihoods. Their spiritual and religion beliefs involve a strong belief in spirits and the interconnectedness of humans and nature. They continue to carry out their oral traditions with stories, songs, and dances, which are important ways of transmitting knowledge and culture. My focus is on of the Yupik people from southwest Alaska, since that is my cultural background. I was raised in the village of Imangak, located on the Quiguk River in the confluences of the lower Yukon River. During the territorial days of Alaska, Sheldon Jackson, a missionary educator, was appointed as the first general agent for education in Alaska in 1885. Under Jackson's leadership, the Interior Department made contracts with various missionary associations, giving them jurisdiction over education in Alaska. He implemented a plan to divide Alaska geographically among the various religious denominations for mission work and establish industrial schools for Alaska Natives. The U.S. has already used this approach to assign reservations to various missionary groups to assimilate Indians through religion. As mentioned before, in 1819, Congress appropriated $10,000 to pay missionaries of or people of good moral character to civilize American Indians and suppress Native traditional practices. Dr. Sheldon Jackson took the same approach 66 years later in Alaska, dividing the state among different religious denominations. Other laws passed by Congress to continue assimilation is the Dawes Act, passed in 1887. This was considered a key piece of legislation that initiated a period of forced assimilation policies targeting Native Americans in the United States. This act, officially titled "An Act to Provide for the Allotment of Lands in Severalty to Indians on the Various Reservations," aimed to break up communal tribal lands and allocate them to individual Native Americans, encouraging them to become farmers and assimilate into mainstream American culture. The Act's primary goal was to encourage Native Americans to adopt a civilized way of life, which included farming, property ownership, and individual family structures. Though Alaska is far from the lower 48 states, Native allotments through the Dawes Act of 1887 has been utilized here as well. Yupik dance, or yukak, is a traditional form of dance performed by the Yupik people of southwestern Alaska, often accompanied by drums, music, and songs in the Yupik language. This photo is a group of villagers inside a kazkik, Yupik dancing. The kazkik is a traditional men's house where the Yupik gathered for Yupik dancing and other activities. Yupik men are the drummers and singers while Yupik women along with men dance. The Yupik women dancers use dance fans and wear their potlatch regalia, which include dance belts made from wolverine paws. headpieces with beadwork, with wolverine and wolf fur, seal or calfskin boots. This regalia is only worn during potlatches. The dance depicts stories and express cultural significance. The song and dance often illustrate stories, and the movements of the dancers, along with the fans, help to tell the narrative. Certain dances are specifically designed to tell the stories to convey cultural lessons for everyone. Dancers use dance fans, which are referred to as dugumaks, which translates to things held in the hand. The dance fans used by the women has the face of their family symbol, signifying which family the dancer belongs to. These dance fans are used to accentuate the fluid motions of the dancer's arms as the song is sung. Traditionally, men and women have different roles in the dance, with the men often kneeling or sitting in front of the women who stand. Yupik dance served various purposes, including maintaining harmony between humans, animals, and the spirit world, celebrating significant events, and passing down cultural traditions. Yupik dance is closely tied to music sung by the men, with the drums providing the heartbeat of the performance. Traditionally, the Yupik held masked dances, and the masked dances often were used to call for more game, like salmon to be abundant in the summer, or other wild game like moose, seals, or geese, to make it easy for hunters to harvest game for the village. Masked dances are hardly danced anymore, as this was one of the dances banned by the missionaries. The other dance that is hardly danced any longer is the bladder festival, which has ties with the seals and its seal bladder. And because this dance is no longer danced, it is difficult for me to explain. Dancers also perform dances at festival celebrations or other social gatherings. One Yupik dance that continues to be carried out today includes the Messenger Feast, which is held annually between dance rival villages like Imanak and Alaknak. The Messenger Feast is the annual potlatch held in both dance rival villages, which is derived from one messenger running from the hosting village, Imanak, to its dance rival village, Alaknak, that a potlatch will be held on a certain day. And the rival hosty village, with all its people, respond to the messenger of the potlatch by coming to the hosting village on the day of the potlatch. Today, 6 villages out of 56 in southwest Alaska still carry out potlatches to include Imangak and Alaknak. These dance rival villages in Yupik are called Inglut, meaning opposite or other one. Kotlik and Stebbins are the other Inglut villages that continue to have potlatches. In addition, St. Mary's and Pilot Station still continue having potlatches. Most recently, like within the last 50 years or less, Nunam Ikwa and Scammon Bay started carrying out the potlatches. These dance rival villages in Yupik are called Inglut, meaning opposite or other one. It was individuals like Ivan Hamilton Sr., a strong Yupik leader from Imangak, who pushed to keep Yupik dance and potlatches continuing.
Minmanayoqaqqa aqullartinaqsullhan Unuksikistokmasat pitklukunerallaitunerassauki agayulertungalskayut Ignaqtrikkasaitum tikkiitkunaki illaitnuneruuqaasqlu Tamoi printilaqannuutsa Uyamkiutuku Nasqutngaqlu paqaannaqagunak pianninga Tikkiutkasam tamapinginaqsam Tiinqlaitaankiskivittorlasqat Christmistaarluguilu Tamaaqtatuqulasqat Tamaaqututngiluku yuppiginut tamaa Namkiullqu Skivittarqamtikirtoqulaqaitilaat Christmissaamil Christmissiilukilaat
Carrying on dancing within a culture plays a vital role for the people within the villages. Dancing is preserving identity, sustaining tradition, and fostering community cohesion, particularly within Native American societies. Dr. Helton's lecture underscores several key points about why the continuation of dance practices is so significant. Number one, preservation and of tradition and identity. Dancing is a living expression of cultural identity and spiritual belief. It connects present generations to their ancestors, passing down rituals, stories, and values through embodied practice. Traditional dances often involving sacred objects like eagle feathers are central to religious ceremonies and seasonal rites, helping safeguard the continuity of core cultural and spiritual meanings. Number two, community cohesion and social connection. Group dances support a sense of belonging and unity within the community. Participation reinforces interpersonal bonds and strengthens collective identity. Dancing in ceremonies and gatherings offered members, young and old, an opportunity to bond, share wisdom, and welcome new participants into cultural life. Spiritual practice and healing. Many native dances are not just performances, but spiritual acts, expressions of gratitude, prayer, or healing for individuals and the wider community. The use of dance in healing rituals or vision quests highlights its integral part of in the wellness and spiritual sustenance of Native peoples. Number four, resilience and adaptation. The continuation of dance in the face of legal and social challenges demonstrates cultural resilience. Even when regulations threaten certain traditional elements, like the use of eagle feathers, communities adapt and persist in carrying on the practice. Maintaining dance traditions is a form of cultural resistance and self determination, ensuring that external pressures do not erase or dilute heritage. In conclusion, carrying on dancing within culture is crucial for safeguarding tradition, expressing spirituality, nurturing community, and preserving identity, especially for Indigenous peoples. In the context of the legal and cultural challenges discussed by Dr. Hilton, continuing dance traditions affirms the right of cultural expression and ensures the survival of meaningful ancestor honoring practices for future generations. With this, our Yupik dancing remains strong within our region, and potlatches still continue in 6 villages today despite the church and government's efforts to stop dancing in our villages.